Today we'll be working on a 2006 Dodge Ram pickup. Basically we'll be changing out the steering wheel for this gentleman. See how it's worn here and pretty bad condition. So the first thing you want to do is disconnect the battery. Make sure you disconnect the battery for at least 10 to 15 minutes prior to removing the airbag. We'll be replacing this wheel with a black leather wrap wheel by Grant. Let's get started. First thing we need to do is remove the screws that are behind the airbag. By doing that, you have to turn the steering wheel to access the screws in the back. You'll be using a 10mm socket . And do the same to the other side. Once you have removed both screws, pull outward on the airbag. You have 3 connectors on the back of the airbag. Your 2 airbag connectors and a ground wire. You'll see the locking tab here on this connector. Basically what you would do is you would squeeze the 2 and it'll allow you to take the connector out. Do the same with the other side. Squeeze inward and pull straight up. You'll notice these are color coded so they go back in the same place. Now you have just your ground wire. You'll be pressing in this white little tab and you should be able to pull that right out. Now that you have your airbag out, make sure you put it in a safe place with the airbag facing upward. You have 1 harness wire feeding your switches, which have a small clip here that you depress and you pull it out from the clock spring. Now we need to remove the center bolt. Use a 13mm socket to get this bolt out. It's very important not to just pull on the wheel because you may do damage to the wires on your clock spring. If it does not come loose, then you may need a puller. Feed the wires through. Do not turn your clock spring. It may turn here when you pull this out, as long as you keep it in the right position. You notice this blue pin here will fall into the back of the wheel here. So it'll actually align itself. What we need to do now is transfer our switches and our back cover to the new wheel. You notice the Phillips screws here that hold on not only the back cover, but also your switches. Once you remove the parts off the other wheel, you'll notice all this can come off as one unit. The wire harness has clips here holding it onto the back cover, so all you need to do is loosen the 4 screws and get the switches and the cover off and transfer them over to your new wheel. Now you're ready to reinstall the wheel. There is a notch here on the top. You can see that here on the shaft also, that there's a notch there, so you want to make sure that you align that notch to get the wheel back on correctly. And also you're going to realign the blue pin that comes off of the clock spring to assure a correct fitment. There you go, slid right on. Reconnect the switches back to the clock spring. Now all you have left is the center bolt and your airbag. You have a balance dampener here that goes on. Using your 13mm socket to get that bolt back on. Get your airbag. Going to reconnect your ground wire. Be sure that you hear them snap in place. Also, these are color coded black and brown to ensure that they go in the right place. Simply put the airbag back into place. Turn your wheel to reinstall the rear bolts. Don't forget to turn your wheel the other way to reinstall the other side. This was a very simple installation. Very few parts to transfer over to your new wheel, and it looks great. Thanks for watching.